There were a lot of hugs, tears, and handshakes at the AFN Assembly on Wednesday night.
The resolution is carried by consensus.
That's because at the 11th hour, both sides managed to come together on what needs to be done to compensate all victims of a chronically underfunded First Nations child welfare system. Under the resolution, the chiefs have directed the AFN executive to negotiate a new agreement with the federal government that pays each child and family covered under the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal ruling a minimum of $40,000, starts flowing compensation money to victims immediately, ensures all victims are eligible for supports up to the age of 26, and requires the AFN executive to provide regular updates on the compensation implementation package. First Nations Child and Family Caring Society Executive Director Cindy Blackstock says the resolution means the federal government has no choice but to head back to the table to negotiate a new agreement.
It means a yes-and approach. It means victims from the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal will see their compensation paid, and then also the class action can go forward.
She says the government can keep the agreement it signed with the AFN executive last January, but they have been directed by chiefs from coast to coast to add to it to meet the Rights Tribunal's requirements.
Is that these were victims who already were entitled to $40,000 through legal orders. And under the old arrangement, they would have seen that go down to zero. Now, thanks to the leadership, that's going to remain at 40, and so that's what the agreement needs to deal with.
Interviewed on APTN's Nation to Nation last month, Indigenous Services Canada Minister Patty Hyde said the government has no interest in reopening the agreement.
Well, at this point, we're confident that the $20 billion will suffice. And but listen, I'm always interested in hearing non-litigant ways to get to an agreement that aren't that doesn't involve litigation. I think reconciliation is about trying to find a path forward together.
But what she said then is no longer accurate now based on the latest developments at the AFN Assembly.
The summary decision, as I said, that overturns really an agreement that is historic, that was negotiated with Indigenous people. The compensation regime that was planned and presented in the final settlement agreement was designed by First Nations people.
And for his part, Justice Minister David Lametti dodged questions on the issue at the AFN Assembly on Thursday. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.